Hello everybody and welcome to another fly tying session with your host Scott. In this session we're going to be tying a fly called the Mayfly Emerger. I've had a few attempts. This is one. Unfortunately it didn't go to plan. It doesn't look too bad, it will catch fish, but it wasn't what I wanted. And it wasn't what I wanted on film either. So we're going to have another go. So we're going to need a light Cahill thread in 8/0. You can use 6/0. We're going to need a pheasant tail feather, a cock one. We've got some hairs here. Now you can use whatever dubbing you like for this one, for the thorax. I would probably recommend something like hot orange or maybe even chartreuse, just to give it a hot spot. That might not be a bad idea. And that, I think, is pretty much it. Now, I need to have a chat with you about the hook that's in the vise. Now, I bought these hooks when I was 15 years old. I used to buy my stuff from Yorkshire Game Angling, which unfortunately is no longer with us. And also, these hooks are from a company called Viper, which was a subsidiary, I believe, of Lure Flash, which you can still get Lure Flash stuff, but I think the original company has gone, basically. And most of the tackle shops are selling all the stuff off cheap to get rid of it. And this one is a size 12 swimming nymph pattern. If you've got some, great. If you've got something that's equivalent to it, great. But you can produce this hook by grabbing a Camazam B800 in size 12, which is basically this one. It's not far away from the proper size. It might be a bit shorter. So it's a 2x long shank, and just bending it up in the middle of the shank, and that should get you the desired effect. So yeah, if you're struggling for the hook, that's what you can do. I would probably recommend heating it before bending it as well. So to get this fly started, it's an emerger, so we need to apply some foam to it. This is where I've had difficulties with this pattern. I'm thinking maybe a wedge of 2mm craft foam would probably have been better. You want to start your thread. Now basically this bend is a good guide. That's where you want your thorax to start. With this pattern, it's up to you. You could have the thorax cover going under the hook or on top. I'm going to do mine on top. It doesn't actually matter. It would look great either way. I'm going to bring the thread back up to probably about a head length from the eye, and then we're going to get a piece of 5mm booby foam and tie it in as best as we can, because it's very difficult to do. Pull tight, put a few turns in to proper lock it down, which is it again, easier said than done. I don't think that's going anywhere now. And then you want to come in with your scissors and get rid of the excess. Try cutting that into a wedge. Get rid of it as much as you can, so you don't want it too bulky there. There we go. And then tidy it up. That'll probably do it. And then you want to cut it to length, which is probably roughly about there. Not sure how big that is. It's very similar to the Sugar Lump Emerger, if you're looking for a reference pattern. Okay, so then we're going to run the thread probably to the next bend. I've got the hook set in the vise so that it's as close to flat as possible. To try and make it fairly easy. And you want to get 3 pheasant tail fibres. You can put more in if you want, but I'm going to put 3 in to mimic the proper thing. And you want the tail to be about the length of the body. Bring the thread underneath just to lift the fibres, and then lock. There we go, they're sticking up quite nicely there. And then trim that to the length of the body. You've got a perfect guide with that bend there, that's how long you want it. Then for the rib, there's a few options. I've tried a few different ones now. I would probably use, I think I'm going to use a bit of peacock quill, if I'm honest. Well, I could use pheasant tail. I'm going to have a go at using pheasant tail, but it broke on the last one. But we'll have a go. I want quite as long one as you can find. If it goes wrong, I've got a backup plan. I tie it in by the thick end, I think, just for insurance. Okay, then you want to start building your body up with the thread. You're probably going to have to do a few full passes just to cover the pheasant tail up, and then you can start tapering it from there. You can use dubbing as well if you prefer. The natural insect does have quite a thick body, so you can take that into account as well. Right, so that's pretty much two full passes, I think. Then we're going to do a partial pass now. I'm going to stop about there and then come back. This is where the 6/0 version of this thread will come into its own, really. You'll probably get a nicer body with that size of thread. So then we're going to come back up and stop probably about there, and then come back down again. And then I'm going to come back up and stop about there, and then come back down, and then we're going to wind the rib. It's very short, so you probably need to come in with the other finger just to anchor it. And if you're very good at your trade, you can make it wider as you go down. There we are, that's it. How's that looking your side? Not too bad. then trim away. And tidy up. So then we're going to tie in our thorax cover. We use pheasant tail again for the thorax cover. You're going to need between 8 and 10, well 6 and 10 probably. The natural insect has obviously got 6 legs, it being an insect. So you're going to use this to make the legs as well. You could put a hackle in if you prefer. So we're going to split the pheasant tail fibres either side of the hook, like so, and tie them in all the way up to the head. They're going to want to come around the head, so just guide them with your free hand. That's not too bad. And then come back down. And then you want to come in with some dubbing and build the thorax. It needs to be a fairly prominent thorax. So once you get the brush in there as well, this can double up as the legs as well. That'll probably do it. Then you sort of want to ease the legs back with your fingers, either side of the hook if you can. And then put a few turns in just to hold them there, like so. And then bring your thorax cover over. And then tie that in. And trim. And create your head. And pull the foam back, coming behind the eye a couple of times. It's not playing. Uh-oh. Okay. I think we're going to have to whip finish behind the foam. Doesn't matter, it will work either way. There we go. Trim away. Now the way this fly is going to fish is it's going to sit just under the surface of the water where this insect would be hatching naturally. which is ideal. It's when the insect is at its most vulnerable, and that's when the trout like to lap them up. And put a dab of varnish on to finish. Just enough to hold the knot, really. Don't need loads. And there we have it, everyone. That is the Mayfly Emerger. Please like, share and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye for now.